Hi, this is Christina DiStefano at the Tioga Arts Council, and I'm here with you live via Facebook with our 8th annual members exhibition. And unfortunately, we're going to have to close early tonight due to the uptick in cases both in Broome and Tioga counties. However, we thought we'd just do a quick walkthrough of what's in the gallery, and you can stop by tomorrow or later in the week, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So as you enter the gallery, the first piece you'll see is by Carol Livermore. And she owns Carol's Art and Coffee Bar. And the next one is a rather large piece by Tim Jackson. Traditionally, I think of Tim as a sculptor, but he is man of many trades, and this interesting collage study of a skeleton, and it's quite appropriate for the month of October. The next two pieces on the bottom is Relaxing Afternoon on the Porch by Laura Jane Smith, and on the upper picture, excuse me, I'm not used to Facebook Live. The upper picture is by Christine Capriglione, and it's called Red Barn. And we just thought that they were a nice complement to each other. And we really liked how the red in Tim's piece tied in with the barn by Christine. And next, we have an encaustic mixed media piece by Dr. Sonia Lee. And she actually did this piece, and it's called Fading Memories, and incorporated into it are scraps and pictures of memorabilia from her family. And just underneath it, we have this incredible sculpture by T. Benjamin Hobbs of Stanton Hill Studios. And he's a master woodworker, and this is called Fruit Bowl. And one thing that I personally love about Ben's work is that he really celebrates imperfections and likes to highlight it and put it at a very prominent place in his work. Moving along, we have two more pieces. On the bottom is called Sanctuary by Carrie D. Tornatore, and on top is Mary Mack's Sunrise in Paradise. And again, we just really like the flow of the colors here, but also the contrasting mediums. In both cases, these thematically tie together because they're imagining places that serve as a source of peace and inspiration, which we absolutely love about them. And there's such a delicate that we thought was a great compliment. And the next piece, and forgive the glare, but this is a wonderful pastel by a new member, Sarah Kinch, and it's called Still Life. And I love the complementary colors of the orange and purple in this, which it's hard to do justice with the reflection, so you'll just have to come in and see it for yourself. And after that color burst, here is one by George Lohman, who is a master of stippling, or the pen and ink, and using tiny dots to create a picture. And next is a classic fall landscape by Donna Cheresnowski. And I think this is one that, what I love about it is it's something that I think we've all seen when we're driving around in the hills or in the back roads of this area. And it's beautifully framed as well. All right, and ignore the office, thank you. All right, and here we have another piece by Kathy Arrington, who is just in here with her friend Sue Kameen. And this is a mud cloth piece, and it's a Bogolafini mud cloth called Raw Kuchara. And it's the only self-portrait in this year's show, so it got its own little wall to celebrate that. So this year we had a good problem. We had a lot of submissions, so we had to go into the office area and do some quick reconfigurations. But back here, these two great pieces. This one is by Sue Kameen, and it's called It Takes a Village. And she gave two pieces, but this is the one that I wanted in the exhibition. And I think it's really awesome. There's an illustrative quality to it that I could personally see in a children's illustration or as a record cover, so I love it. And tying into the beautiful pastels of that piece with this one, this is a piece called Blue Mountain by Alice Mishka. It's a great piece, and it's an oil painting, but it's a collage of different scenes if you look carefully, and it's blended together in just the beautiful way that Alice knows how to do these things. So we'll go back through the gallery. And here's another piece by Yvonne Hobbs, also affiliated with Stanton Hill Studios, and it's very hard to do justice to this piece, but it's a beautiful wooden sculpture, cherry wood, and the base is, wood ash made by her son, and this is called Three Graces, and it's just so pleasing to look at. You just want to touch the sculpture. It's lovely, it's rich. I highly recommend seeing it. So next, moving from wood to fabric, this is a great quilt by Carolyn Campbell. She, Alice, and Suzanne Lockman are members of the Walk-Up Gallery. And this piece has a great little story with it. So Carolyn often does so much for us, and she's an integral part of our community. And recently we were cleaning out some things in the basement, and we found a book of fabric swatches, and we were going to get rid of it, but Carolyn saw it, and she asked us if she could take it, so of course we said yes. And she wound up taking the silk scraps and converting it into this quilt, which is called Silk Bricks. And what I love about this story is that sometimes, it's beauty are in the eye of the beholder, and I'm so glad that Carolyn asked to take that swatch book of scraps, and she made it into this. So moving along, we have this grouping of three paintings, artworks. On the top is an abstract landscape called Transition 1 by Amy Zhao. She had a show here 2 years ago called The Blue Hour. And underneath it, this is one that by Cynthia Kratzley, and she is someone who is so talented. I personally think of her as someone who does lino cuts, but this is a watercolor she did called Surface Tension, and it's stunning, and it's got great lines. It's a really beautiful watercolor and a lovely frame. And next to it is an artwork by Anne Pellegrino called Candy Coated, and I just love her style. It's bright, it's fun, but there's also a lot of thought and interesting things going on. So you just have to come in and take a look and just enjoy it. The color will surely brighten your day. And so again, in terms of texture, we really changed it up in this little section. Right next to Anne's piece, Candy Coated, is this assemblage work by Chris Knickerbocker, and it's called Be an Angel. This one gave us trouble hanging, but Chris was here with me last night, and we got it hung up, safe, secure, so we could show it off. And it's a great piece of architectural assemblage, and also a bit of a play on words, which I personally enjoy very much. And so another thing about our historic galleries, we've got this great focal point of the fireplace here. So we have this wonderful work by Michelle Schleider called Holiday, and this was just recently in our September exhibition, but she's a member here, and she said we could pick whatever piece we wanted to stay behind, and the choice was difficult, so we thought, well, with the season changing and the weather getting cooler, this one just seemed appropriate, but also vibrant and bold to go with. And so just underneath it, going from big to small, we have this wonderful little booklet called Becoming Blueberries, and a casing to go with it so you can look at it without having to touch it, by Marty Schneider of Newark Valley. And it's ink and colored pencils, and it's just a wonderful little piece. And now moving down, this is something that, it's a 4-part piece. Forgive the camera. Okay, I can't turn the camera, so this is my first Facebook Live event. You'll have to bear with me. But this is a piece by Suzanne Poe. It's called Pods. And I love it because, you know, she's a needle wet felter, but I love how it's presented on the whiteboard with the blue glass bottles. It's just a great contrast of colors, textures, and wonderful things going on. So moving along, now we have Suzanne Lockman's autumn piece called Autumn Joy. It's bright, it's beautiful. This is like a quintessential autumn scene, and it's well done. Thank you, Suzanne. And now this is not an autumn scene, but I really loved how the blues tied together in both pieces. And this is actually a scene, a seascape from Oregon by Tina Bradley Gain. And she was in here with her friend earlier, and they were just enjoying the gallery. So it's a lovely contrast of colors that are complementary, but also seasonal, and also where they are geographically. So this is another subtle piece that has a great story. This is by Mary Townsend, and when you look at it, it may not become abundantly clear, but it's titled Tribute to RBG, and she created this after the passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And if you look carefully, she embroidered in there a statement which says, "When there are 9," and that is reference to Ruth Bader Ginsburg famously saying that, answering the question, when will there be enough female justices on the Supreme Court? And she said, when there are 9. Oh, and I would also like to add that another special thing about this is Mary is a quilter from Candor, but she is also a lawyer, and I believe she either ran or successfully won a judgeship in Candor, so that adds to the specialness of this piece. This next one is a digitally altered photograph by Kim Ezra Scheinbaum. She is a photographer in Montrose, and what I love about her style is the bold colors, and I love how she manipulates the image. It kind of has a graphic-y feel in this particular image she provided for the show, and I feel there's almost a dramatic quality, or there's something about it that reminds me of almost like a movie quality. That's so cool. And next, we have this piece by Melissa Restituccia, and I probably said that wrong, which makes me a very bad Italian American, but it's called Afloat in a Sky of Wonder, and Melissa is very known for using this recurring motif of the crow or the raven, and I'll have to ask her why she chose that particular animal. But here it's in this one fantastical balloon and sort of teapot looking base, and it's whimsical and beautiful and just a joy to look at. So moving along, here's another fabric piece made out of upcycled ties. And this one is called Tunic Apron. I'm not terribly good about tying ties, but people can correct me here. Are those Windsor knots that she tied into the top? And there's a pocket with some accoutrements for cooking. And we like this one. She suggested an autumn one, but I really like the blues and teals. I think it complements this section here that has some very strong blue undercurrents. And it's just a beautiful piece, and it's functional too, so it can be used in the kitchen. And it's called, it's by Michelle Leonard, excuse me, and the name of her kind of brand is called Twice Upon a Tie. So moving along, and this is going to be difficult because the window, it's always hard to get the lighting right, but this is a sculptural piece by Michael Husted. And he is somebody that does sculpture, jewelry, and painting. And he has a very recognizable style once you get to know him. And actually, he's friends with Ben Hobbs, who we saw earlier, his beautiful fruit bowl. And they both like to celebrate, both in a fine way, little imperfections, and to make it an integral part of the piece. And if you notice, there's a greenish quality to that. That was intentional. It's a chemical treatment that's on the wood, and he just liked the effect that it had, and it's on a stone base. And next, this is a beautiful white stoneware clay vase by Rachel Consolazio. And if there are any avid fishermen or people who love things of that sort, this is a great piece. Beautiful colors. And it's just well done. Forgive me, I'm not terribly good about doing this window stuff. But yeah. And then last but not least in this exhibition is Rod Reynolds. He had a show here earlier in 2020, February, and he has some unusual sizes for canvases, so we thought that this one needed its own wall. And this one is called Eagle Glide. He does a lot of scenes from nature, but what's neat about it is that the colors are very almost surrealistic and neon in color. And it's just a beautiful acrylic painting, very kind of almost watered down acrylics of this eagle. So yeah, thank you for watching this. I'm sorry that we have to close early, but we will be open, and just keep track of us on Facebook, on Instagram. We'll be highlighting individual artists throughout the month. And yeah, thank you all so much. Thank you to our members for being members and for making this incredible show happen. And thank you all for watching. This is my first Facebook Live, so I hope I did okay. And please stop down. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 4 p.m. And in the meantime, please be safe and be well and be creative.